As the elite infantry unit of their eras, Death Troopers and Clone Troopers were specialized in advanced soldiers, the former fighting for the Galactic Empire, and the latter for the Galactic Republic. But what made these two units so elite? And more importantly, what were the similarities and differences between the Empire's Death Troopers and the Grand Army of the Republic's Clone Troopers? In this video expose, I will describe and compare these two units on the basis of their armor, weapons, and training attributes. Let's start with their training. As an elite unit developed specifically to protect the Empire's most important operations and its top-ranking operatives within the Imperial military hierarchy, the Death Troopers were rigorously trained to undertake these important tasks. Death Troopers were chosen selectively from candidates who demonstrated superior skills within their training as a Stormtrooper, whereby they were then reassigned to Scarif to initiate their advanced Death Trooper training. This means that Death Troopers, through their initial Stormtrooper training, could realistically begin their training at the age of 13. Demonstrating how selective the Empire was when recruiting potential candidates to join the ranks of the Death Troopers, each candidate had to meet non-negotiable physical and ideological standards within their training phase. These standards included height and weight requirements that went far beyond the typical averages for Stormtroopers, whereby Death Troopers were required to have a height of 6 feet 5 inches. Their training was particularly meticulous and harsh, taking place within different environments in order to produce soldiers that were superior in strength, speed, and resilience. Death Trooper training also focused on cross-training and skill specialization, requirements that were necessary due to their operating primarily within small groups. Clone Troopers comprising the Grand Army of the Republic also experienced similar rigorous methods and were highly trained. Created from birth to be highly effective soldiers that would be battle-ready upon their deployment, Clone Troopers underwent intense combat training upon the planet of Kamino. These combat exercises were undertaken with the end goal of preparing them for war. In many ways, the clones were the perfect soldier, as they were trained to never question the orders that they were given. Early in their training, clones were given the rank of Clone Cadet, and their training focused on ensuring that they were well versed in teamwork and cooperation with their fellow Clone Troopers. Once the Clone Wars started, the training of the Clone Troopers was overseen by the Jedi, with Jedi Master Shaak Ti personally overseeing the training of new clones. Demonstrating that the clones were an elite fighting force, those who failed to complete their training on Kamino were not permitted to become soldiers within the Grand Army of the Republic, or allowed to engage in military service. Rather, they were given menial work to perform, such as janitorial duties. Death Troopers had a wide range of weapons to assist them in carrying out their missions as bodyguards and enforcers for the leadership of the Tarkin Initiative. They were provided with an E-11D blaster rifle that was similar in design to the standard issue E-11 provided to the Imperial Stormtroopers, but which featured a large-bore reinforced barrel. Being similar to the E-11 model, the E-11D combined long-range accuracy and deadly firepower. Death Troopers were also issued an SC-14R light-repeating blaster pistol, which had fully automatic capabilities and provided the troopers with easy portability combined with an impressive rate of fire. However, due to the SC-14R's high rate of fire, the blaster pistol was prone to run out of ammo during longer engagements, and could also lead to issues with overheating. Finally, Death Troopers were outfitted with C-25 fragmentation grenades, which contained a sphere of baranium-impregnated detonite encased within a conductive shell. This inner conductive shell was further housed within a cylinder, which when twisted, activated the grenade. The standard issue blaster rifle for the Republic's Clone Troopers was the DC-15. The DC-15 could provide its user with 500 shots of plasma bolts when the blaster was set to low power. When set to maximum power, the DC-15 could yield 300 shots of extremely lethal firepower. In addition to the DC-15, Clone Troopers also received the standard issue DC-15A blaster rifle, which ultimately formed the basis for the E11 and E11D models that were adopted by the Empire's stormtroopers and death troopers. The DC-15A provided dual capabilities, the ability to provide sustained fire, in addition to the ability to provide slower fire, but with greater long-range accuracy. The DC-15A was also extremely versatile, as it allowed clones to mount it on a tripod, outfit it with sniper scopes, and even work together with the holographic data readouts that would be relayed within a clone trooper's helmet. Finally, in addition to these two blaster rifles, most clone troopers were issued the DC-17 heavy blaster pistol. Particularly favored among the higher-ranking captains and commanders, the DC-17 allowed for clones to rapidly draw upon their blaster pistol to respond to sudden threats. The standard model was capable of yielding 50 shots. But clone troopers didn't only rely upon blasters, as they carried a range of grenades, including thermal detonators and electromagnetic pulse grenades. Although the armor worn by death troopers has a number of visual similarities with the armor worn by the Empire's stormtroopers, death trooper armor is actually specialized stormtrooper armor, wherein it's a marked improvement from the mass-produced armor worn by stormtroopers. While their armor has a base plastoid that is similar to both stormtroopers and clone troopers, death trooper armor is coated in Reflect, a new spray polymer that warps electromagnetic signals, thereby making them harder to detect and particularly valuable in missions requiring stealth. Their armor also included more sophisticated and modern sensing apparatuses that allowed death troopers to maintain complete situational awareness on the battlefield, easily denoting allies and enemies. Their helmets also contained integrated multi-frequency targeting and acquisition sensor systems, and additional image-intensifying active pulse emitters, which was a significant increase in sophistication and benefit to the death troopers. In many ways, the initial Phase 1 armor of the clone troopers was a hindrance. Given the Kaminoans' inexperience with human ergonomics, their Phase 1 armor contained unintentional design flaws, such as being uncomfortable to sit in. First deployed at the Battle of Geonosis, Phase 1 armor consisted of 20 form-fitting plastoid alloy composite plates. Phase 1 clone trooper armor also contained a temperature-controlled, pressurized body glove, to which the plastoid plates were sealed to through magnetomic gription panels. This body glove provided clone troopers with temporary protection against the vacuum of space, while the armor itself allowed them to cross deflector shield barriers and protected against projectiles and explosions. Ultimately, the original Phase 1 armor was rendered obsolete and replaced by the more advanced Phase 2 armor. Issued to the clone troopers around the time of the Battle of Mon Cala, Phase 2 armor could increasingly support specialized equipment, and corrected the design flaws of the original Phase 1 armor. However, the Phase 2 armor did not include an internal life support system, as its predecessor did. Therefore, clone troopers were required to use an external respirator when engaging within an environment that lacked a breathable atmosphere. So there we have it, the similarities and differences between death troopers and clone troopers in regard to their training, weapons, and armor. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me, for Domino Squad.